Good morning, ELED 440 students. I apologize about moving class to online, but the roads were very icy and we had saw a couple of accidents and it just did not seem safe to travel. So we turned around and came home from our trek from Sioux Falls to Madison this morning. So I'm moving class to online. So I'm just going to share with you some of the things that you can work through independently to prepare for class on Wednesday. So what I am going to do with you is I'm going to share the PowerPoint, and there is an Edmodo assignment that I want to talk to you about. And then Wednesday in class, what we'll end up doing is those presentations, and there will be a note-taking document that you will complete during the presentations, but that will happen on Wednesday during class as opposed to today. So if you hold on just a second, I'm going to pull up my PowerPoint. So that you can see what's going on. So first of all, our major learning target for today is that we understand how the speaking and listening standards change as students progress through the grade levels. And that really is going to be those presentations that you carry out. In addition to that, your assignment learning target is to understand why cross-curricular instruction with speaking and listening standards is an effective way to instruct students in your reading and language arts classrooms. When you get to class on Wednesday, I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to finalize and discuss your presentations before you go. I do not want the presentations to be really just reading off the PowerPoint. So with your discussion, before you go, I want you to compare each grade level to the one before with your standard and talk about how the anchor standard becomes more complex. And then there are going to be some specific things that I'll share in just a minute that I want you to talk about from your slides, but some of it's going to be information that your classmates can see, while other of the information is going to be information that you read and point out and discuss further. If you could do me a favor, and just somewhere on the slides that you worked on, if you could add your name to those slides. And please just make sure to have your PowerPoints finished and ready to go. So if you need to touch base via email about getting those PowerPoints finished and ready to go before class on Wednesday, that's going to be to our benefit just for time, since we're not meeting in class today to do that. Let's see. So with your presentations, what I want you to share, first of all, before you start going through the slides, it's just the gist of your anchor standard. What do students need to know, need to understand, and be able to do in general? From there, I want you to talk about the reading and writing standards that you think are easily supported by this standard. So which reading and writing standards did you connect? And then really for each grade level, what I want you to write down is what you need students to be able to do and a sample activity that would help them achieve it. Because essentially what's going to happen on Wednesday is that you are going to be filling out a personal anchor chart, which I'm going to pull up here to show you, for each standard. So as you can see, this would be the first standard, and it says the standard itself on the anchor chart, prepare for and participate effectively in a range of conversations and collaborations with diverse partners, building on others' ideas and expressing their own clearly and persuasively. So the students that are in charge of that standard are going to do their presentation, and as they are presenting, you are going to fill out the gist of the standard, whatever cooperating standards that group matched up with it, and then sample activities for each grade level. So that's going to shorten up the presentations a little bit, and really just going to get to the point of this is what students need to be able to know and do for the standard, and here's just one way you could do it. So all of a sudden you have a collection of activities for each standard at each of the grade levels that we're focusing on. All right, so coming back to the PowerPoint. Like I said, that's going to happen on Wednesday. You do not have to do anything with that today, but I just wanted to share with you the types of information that I would hope that you ensure in your presentation so that you can be ready to go and turn that in. In this PowerPoint, it says that the presentations are due into, your anchor charts from the presentations are due in the Dropbox by Wednesday. We're going to have to see if we get through all of the presentations on Wednesday, and if we don't, of course, I will extend that deadline. And that's going to be Wednesday after class, and more than likely I'm going to have to push that back to Thursday or Friday, because I want to give you some time just to wrap up any loose ends that you would need to, that you didn't complete while your classmates were doing the presentations. So please let me know if you have any questions about the presentations, but if you could just come in with your slides all prepared and ready to go, I'll give you some time to quickly discuss with your group members and have a quick meeting prior to giving the presentations. And then we will start immediately on Wednesday giving those presentations. Essentially, our goal with this is to develop a much simpler version of a cross-curricular unit, and that's really going to be our final project for this class, and I'm going to share more with you about that on Wednesday and next Monday. But in order to do that, one of our first steps is to know the standards really well, and I feel like we know the writing standards well, but we needed to dig in a little bit further to the speaking and listening standards, and some of us may need to look further into the reading standards, and so that's kind of where we're going with all of this and why we're doing it. So that leads me into your Edmodo assignment, and I do want this done by the time you get to class on Wednesday. So it's a fairly simple assignment, but it just gets into the why and the how of cross-curricular planning with English language arts. And so what you are going to do with this assignment is you're going to log into Edmodo. So this is my Edmodo page. And you are going to see on the top of your page for our ELED 440 class this post. And so it says, choose 2 of the following resources on cross-curricular teaching and planning. Read and respond to 2 of the sources. So you need to just pick 2 of these sources listed. I do have, this one showed up twice for some reason. So of course, don't pick that one twice. But there is this one, this article about integrating science and language arts. This is a video, a teaching channel video, where a science and social studies teacher work together to plan cross-curricular units. And so this just talks about their strategies for collaborating and planning these cross-curricular units. This particular one is about incorporating art and English language arts, so just a different take on a different subject. This just talks about why it's essential, and then this not only talks about why this cross-curricular thematic instruction not only talks about why it's essential, but also talks about some steps that you can take to be effective at planning cross-curricular instruction. And so it's just some ideas to help you understand how this might take place in an English language arts classroom. So what you're going to do is you are going to, like I said, pick 2 of these sources. And for each of those 2 sources, I would like for you to go through this 3-step process where you name the source that you chose. So let's say you choose collaborative teaching for interdisciplinary learning. You would list that, then summarize your key learning from the source in 3 sentences. So not a whole lot, but just give us the gist of what this was about. And then I want you to respond to the source. So a response to the source would be a question that you would like to explore further based on what you read or saw, a connection that you made, or an explanation of how your thinking changed or grew. And then you would pick a second source. So maybe you are an art person and you want to learn more about connecting art to English language arts. So you read this article. You would go through that same process and say, I read Tying It All Together. It's a internet page. And then you would go through that same process of summarizing in 3 sentences and responding to the source with a further question or connection that you made. An example of how you would do this is you would hit reply, and then you would go through, and I'm not going to go through and write my own responses, but I'm going to show you how you should set this up with my reply, and then you can just continue on by replying to your own post. So let's see. I might just say I read awesome lesson ideas to integrate science across the curriculum. So I would put source 1. awesome lesson ideas for integrating science across the curriculum. And then I would have summary. And I would insert a 3-sentence summary here. And then I would have a response. Oops, spelling is rough today, obviously. And I would insert a response to what I read. And then I would go on to do source 2. Maybe I'm choosing this cross-curricular thematic instruction for source 2. So cross-curricular thematic instruction. And I would have my summary, and I would have a response for that source as well. So this is just a sample setup for how you would post what you learned from the 2 sources that you chose. And so then, of course, you would hit reply. And once you do that, we will have a list of all of these replies that each student makes, and we will be able to refer back to those. More than likely that will happen. We'll start continuing this discussion a week from today. So you will have your class today where you're finalizing your PowerPoints and doing the Edmodo assignment for class on Wednesday. Wednesday, we will go through and do all of the presentations and fill out our personal anchor chart. The following Monday, we will finalize this discussion and start digging into what we need to do to plan our own cross-curricular units. Like I said, a much simpler version of the ones that we analyzed earlier in the semester, but still getting those abilities to synthesize 2 different topics into a single lesson or set of lessons for our students. So with that being said, I am going to end our Google Hangout for today. I hope that you travel safely and that we will see you on Wednesday, all safe and sound. I once again apologize for any inconvenience this caused, but I just wanted to make sure that we were all safe and not traveling on the icy roads. So you guys have a great Monday and enjoy your Tuesday Veterans Day off. And we will see you in class on Wednesday. Bye-bye.